Hi everyone. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I thought that for the beginning of the new year, or let's say the end of the last year, I wanted to talk about all the books that I've read in the past year in 2022, but in another fashion, because I've seen some booktubers like Jack Edwards do this little thing, this video idea, where they made a little bit like a World Cup of books that they had read until that point. And I thought I would do something similar, but not World Cup related, but more like Hunger Games related. You know what I mean? Let me explain. Basically, I selected all the books that I have given 3 to 4 stars in 2022 and put them up to fight to see who would be the winner between all of my 3 to 4 star books. Because the others, like 5-star books, I already talk so much about them in general. I mention them all the time that I thought, yeah, let's just move on and let the mediocre shine, you know? And so I prepared this little thing. So I hope you can see what I did here. I just basically organized all the books that I read in 2022 that I rated 3 to 4 stars. Not above that and not below that, because below that it's just books that I really did not like. And above that is basically my favorite books. So yeah. I also put it in like, when I first put it, I put it in a specific order, like basically 3 to 4 stars, but then I clicked on random and now it's all random. So let's see. So first off, I'm sorry that it's not really aesthetically pleasing, because I had just an odd number of books, and so yeah, it's not really aesthetically pleasing, as I said, but well, we'll get around it. Anyways, now first choice that we have here is The Island of the Missing Trees and Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is an interesting one because I really liked The Island of the Missing Trees. In some parts it was a little bit slow, it was a little bit, not repetitive, but it was, you know, a little bit tedious, a little bit hard to get through, but it was really interesting. I really loved the story and it stuck with me for a long time after I finished it. Now with Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I really didn't have a great start with it. I find it kind of boring and repetitive. This one was very repetitive for me. But the stories, because it was kind of a collection of short stories into one book that weaved together, you know, everything had to do a little bit with each other. I found it nice. Some stories were more interesting than others, but you know, in the end of the day, it was a really nice book. Between these two, I would just, you know, select The Island of the Missing Tree. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Now, I know we have some, yeah, here. And we have Atomic Habits versus Six of Crows. So this is easy because I recently listened to Six of Crows actually on Audible and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was a really fun and interesting story, but I just didn't get as invested in the characters as I would love to, you know, because everyone adores Six of Crows and the whole Grisha verse. And so I was really looking forward to falling in love with these characters and really loving them to the core. But I just, you know, I just enjoyed it. It was just a good book for me. It wasn't like changing my life or anything. It wasn't doing all of that. But I gave it like 4 stars or something, or even more than that. But yeah. Atomic Habits, on the other hand, was kind of, you know, underwhelming in a way, because it was good. There were some valuable lessons in it, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, I feel like it could have been an essay. It shouldn't have been like a 200, 300 pages book, you know? It would have been enough to be an essay about like 10 pages, because the whole point of the book was done deal after like 10 pages, basically. I mean, it was kind of redundant at some point. The examples were too much or too many. The whole thing was just explained tediously and really repetitively, when I was like, okay, we get it. It's not that hard. Just, you know, be concise, be quick. And then it would have been over in like an email. And so, yeah, Atomic Habits, it was valuable, but you know, in this case, Six of Crows definitely was way more enjoyable and had more sense in being longer, you know? Now, Next up, we have Books versus Cigarettes and The Island of the Missing Trees. Books versus Cigarettes is by George Orwell. It's just a collection of essays that he wrote regarding like books and cigarettes. I just read 2 or 3 essays, I guess, that was like about comparing the prices of books and cigarettes and why one was more profitable than the other, blah blah blah, or the same. I don't know. I don't even remember that much about it. It was just my boyfriend forced me to read it. I don't know. I don't even remember why, but it is what it is. And I just gave it maybe like 3.75 stars or 3.5 stars. It was okay, but it wasn't just my thing. And yeah, so yeah, The Island of the Missing Tree, because yeah, I just really enjoyed that book. Thinking about it, I still think about it, yeah. Now, next off, we have Ugly Love versus When Harry Met Harry. Now, this is a tricky one because it's 2 romance books. The one, Ugly Love, most of you probably know it. It's by Colleen Hoover. And the other one, I don't even remember who it is by, but it was just a free Audible book that I just listened because, well, why not? I had to reach my reading goal, so we do everything around here to reach it. And Ugly Love, I don't know, I was just really expecting to love it, to really adore it, because it was so hyped, or it is so hyped on the internet, on TikTok, everywhere. It was just, you know, not my thing. I just don't really like toxic love, you know. I don't really like the whole he's such an asshole with her, but he's actually in love with her, and that whole shenanigan, you know. I know some people really like that enemies to lovers, or not even enemies, but just people who don't like each other to lovers. And I found it a little bit, you know, extreme how they portrayed like his trauma in a way that, okay, he's traumatized for life, he can't love anyone anymore because of something that happened in the past, but that wasn't really even his fault in a way. And so, yeah, that was kind of extreme. And also the way, the whole thing about like, I don't know, therapeutic pussy is just so for me, you know. And so, yeah, that was my problem with Ugly Love. And with When Harry Met Harry, it was just a little bit cringy, to be honest. It was just, it was this cute love story, this gay love story, but the love story per se just evolved in the last like 10 pages. If I read it, it was like the last 10 pages or the last chapter or so. They went from enemies to friends to back to enemies to at some point again friends and then to lovers. It was a gradual progress. It wasn't like instantly, but still it was kind of annoying because like by the middle of the book we all knew you gotta get together, so please get your shit together and move on with the story, you know, and just start the romance. But no, they've waited until like the last chapter of the book to finally give us the romance. So yeah, in some parts I thought that the love stories between like the side characters were a little bit more interesting, but yeah, I don't know which one to choose. I don't know what to pick. Ugly Love was toxic, and I don't know, I just don't really vibe with it. But When Harry Met Harry was just cringy, and I don't know, I didn't really super enjoy it. But I enjoy that kind of story a little bit more than the toxic, traumatized bad boy who falls in love with a pick-me girl, and you know, sex saves them, and then they fall deeply in love and get married. Oh, was that a spoiler? I'm sorry. But well, yeah, I picked When Harry Met Harry because we don't stand toxic here. Now moving on, we have Adler, Die verlorenen Abenteuer. This is basically a collection of Avatar: The Last Airbender comics, like the missing stories, or I don't know how it's called in English, I don't know. It's just some more adventures by the Adler gang, you know. And so it was okay. I don't remember exactly what stories were told, but I feel like I didn't like that comic collection as much as I did the others. as I love the others. And then we have the Jane Austen collection. Oh my god. I'm visibly struggling here because that was also an Audible collection that was done by these very famous actresses like Florence Pugh and others that I don't remember. And they were reading or performing the whole Jane Austen collection, like every fucking book. I'm sorry. And it was the whole 40 hours thing or something. I didn't listen to all of it. I started with the premise that I didn't want to listen to all of it, but just to the books that really interested me. And thank God they had like a register where you could select the stories you wanted to listen to, you know, choose what you wanted to listen to, and not just chapter 1 to 5,000 or something like that, but, you know, divide it into sections where one story started and the other ended or whatever. And I just listened to maybe Pride and Prejudice, and I think that was it. I don't remember really. I think I listened to like 2 or 3. But yeah, it was okay. The thing is just that I, at some point, felt it to be a little bit repetitive and a little bit, you know, same story, different name, basically. And I know some of y'all are gonna hate me for that, but it's just not my type of story. I just don't really vibe with the whole Jane Austen universe, you know? And so I think I will choose Adla, The Lost Adventures. Yeah, because why not? Then we have A Christmas Carol versus The Picture of Dorian Gray. This is an easy one because if you watched, or are going to watch, I don't even know what is coming out, but well, you are going to see why I choose A Christmas Carol. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything. This is just an easy thing to do. Now moving on, we have Carmilla versus Er ist wieder da, or the English title is Look Who's Back, I guess. And Carmilla is basically the story of this girl vampire who, I don't know, has a little bit of a lesbian relationship with this girl and is trying to kill her, obviously, because she's a vampire. It's not Twilight, it's better, because this was literally written before Dracula. Like 20 years before Dracula was written. Now, Er ist wieder da, or Look Who's Back, is the story about Hitler coming back to Germany, like waking up in Germany 2011 and not knowing what the fuck is going on, why he woke up in the middle of nowhere in Berlin, and trying to regain power over Germany and being again this powerful politician, whatever. It's an interesting read, but I just found it really weird and was really well written. I just found it really weird to, you know, have a POV of Hitler, you know, being this little silly little man, not getting around well in this world, not knowing what a cell phone is, what a mouse is, what a computer is, and so on, and just trying to get his way around in this new era and trying to regain power, you know? Criticizing maybe politicians and, I don't know, the right-wing parties and so on. Things that we all do, you know? I don't want to relate to Hitler, you know what I mean? I don't want to get into his mind and be like, yeah, I can relate to that. That's weird. Don't do that. And so I really have mixed feelings for that book because it was actually pretty good. It was well written. It was interesting. But it was just an icky feeling. It left a bad taste in my mouth. And so I didn't quite enjoy it as much as if it was like another book about something completely different. Because I feel like this author could have done or could do or is capable of doing such great work. But this specific topic for me is just not it. So, yeah, I'm choosing Carmilla because I actually had a good time listening to that. It was really short. I don't even know if it's like the whole version or if Audible cut it down to just Carmilla, because I also have the ebook version of Carmilla and the some sort of detective of the occult or something like that. I don't even know what the English title is, and it's way longer. So I feel like maybe the Audible version just shortened it down to just Carmilla's story and let everything else apart. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It was really fun. A really good sapphic vampire story. Now moving on, we have the The Midnight Library versus Stardust. Stardust is by Neil Gaiman. I really adore this man. I really liked this story as well. It was well written, it was short, it was fun, it was well rounded, it was something else. It wasn't like the same thing over and over again, you know. The Midnight Library, it was also a very good book. I really liked it. I also recommended it to like family and friends. This is a difficult choice because they dealt with very different topics that are very like interesting to me, you know. And so I feel like though the Midnight Library was just a little bit more precise in what it wanted to do, because Stardust was just a little bit of a fairy tale but for adults. It was a really nice read. I really love it. But the Midnight Library, even though I didn't maybe enjoy it as much as I did with Stardust, it was just, you know, it had a point. It was something that you can think about, you can discuss about, you can recommend to someone that you know would like it or something, you know? It's just more important, I guess. But let's see. Now moving on. We have Wuthering Heights and 1984. This is hard again, because I didn't really enjoy any of these books. I didn't really like any of them. Wuthering Heights, it was okay. For the most part, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, why everyone hated this guy, Heathcliff, I think was his name. And with 1984, I just really didn't like it. I just found it so boring, so overrated, and so not my thing. I don't know. I just really don't like dystopian fantasy. That's what I knew. But with Wuthering Heights, it was okay, but you know, it was told by the maid or something, from the maid's point of view, and it was, I don't know, it was kind of miserable. I don't know if that's even the right word, but you know, it was kind of like so much shit happening for everyone, but for what reason, you know? I think for that one I have to go with, I just really didn't like 1984, for real. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a critique on the society at that time, or where we're getting with it, and nowadays it could be seen as a critique on today's society, but really, for real, I just really did not like it. So I think I will go with Wuthering Heights. Never mind, you know, we gotta make sacrifices here. Now, the last bit here is Six of Crows versus Normal People. This shit is easy. Six of Crows all the way. I really hated Normal People. I really did. This was the book that made me most angry of all the books I've ever read. Because okay, let's begin. I accept, I respect, if you like, or if you even love, normal people. So please respect me and my opinion, because it's just my opinion. It's just some random girl on the internet. You don't have to get pressed about it. Normal people, I just really don't like. I really despise when there's characters who really cannot communicate, who will just create problems because they are unable to communicate their desires, their feelings, their needs, their boundaries, you know, when they don't have self-respect, self-love, or anything. I know that many people can relate to the characters because they see themselves as maybe younger people in them. But you know, at some point, enough is enough, you know. I know that some misunderstanding, miscommunication is more interesting to the story, but you know, making the whole damn book about it, or the characters not evolving a little bit, you know, their relationship just degrading, at some point getting better, but then degrading again, just because of lack of communication or lack of self-awareness and, you know, self-preservation skills. I don't know. It's just so annoying to me. You guys need therapy, and I'm not here to give you therapy. I just don't have the energy and the patience for all of that. So why would I read that? You know, I just really didn't like it. If you don't like characters who are not able to communicate basic things like needs, desires, boundaries, or whatever, don't leave it. Just leave it. Okay, so that's why I chose Six of Crows. In short. Now moving on, we have The Island of the Missing Trees and When Harry Met Harry. This is also easy because, as I said, When Harry Met Harry was just not my vibe. It was okay, it was cute, but enough is enough, you know? It's time to go. Bye, Harry. Now, Adla, The Missing Adventures or something like that, and A Christmas Carol. Now listen, I don't remember why I didn't rate this Adla comic collection 5 out of 5 stars like I do with every other Adla collection, because I really love everything related to the Avatar universe. And you have to be looking out, because I'm coming out with another video about me reading both The Rise of Kyoshi and the Dawn. No, The Rise and the Dawn. I don't know. I'm reading it in German. The Rise and the Fall, The Rise and the Dawn of Kyoshi, and also The Rise of Young Cheng. You know, as an Atla fan, yeah, watch out for it, you know. But between these two, Christmas Carol, I liked it, but I don't know. It was okay. It was fine. It's a classic. It's the Christmas story. But, you know, I'm just an Atla fan through and through. And this was just a, you know, okay Christmas story for me. It was just, yeah, you gotta read it at some point in your life, and I did, and so now we're done with it. Carmilla versus The Midnight Library. Carmilla was literally the audiobook version, 2 hours long. So you did not have really time to get to know the vampire that well, to see the behind the scenes, why she did what she did or whatever, and how they came up with all these things with all that knowledge. And so, I don't know. They just didn't give us time to get really deep into the character, deep, I don't know, into the story. And so I feel like for this one, it might as well be The Midnight Library. I don't know why I have such problems pronouncing these titles today. Now last, we have Wuthering Heights and Six of Crows. This is easy again. I really liked Six of Crows, to be honest. As I said before, it just wasn't, you know, life-changing for me. It was a book that I enjoyed. That I was like, yeah, this was fine. But I wouldn't buy a physical copy because I already have the audiobook version. And I'm like, yeah, that's enough. I don't need anything else. That's okay. No, we're now at, I feel like, almost done. Yeah. Okay, we have The Island of the Missing Trees versus Outlaw, The Lost, or The Missing Adventures. This is difficult. The thing is, I don't even remember what The Missing Adventures were. But The Island of the Missing Trees, I do remember. I felt for the characters. Yeah, The Island of the Missing Trees. What am I doing here? I'm sorry, Ang. Now moving on, The Midnight Library versus Six of Crows. Six of Crows, girl, because The Midnight Library, as I said, it was okay. You know, it wasn't forgettable. Like, it wasn't that extreme, but it wasn't also super, oh my god, life-changing, you know? I don't even know why I'm always looking for life-changing books, you know? But it's fine. Now, last but not least, who's gonna be the winner? We have Six of Crows versus The Island of the Missing Trees. To be honest, I think Six of Crows. Because, well, I listened to Six of Crows and I read The Island of the Missing Trees. It was just a little bit, you know, nothing was really happening. Oh, why did it not get to like a final point? But okay, we know Six of Crows won because, you know, nothing really was happening in The Island of the Missing Trees in the present. It was just a story happening in the past, and we were getting the information where we're getting it told by the father of the girl in the present. And so yeah, it was fine, but it was a little bit slow and a little bit there were a little bit too many intersections on the way, and so yeah, Six of Crows it is. It was a very fun adventure, and yeah, so I don't know if you want to do something similar, or if you really liked what I was doing here. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and that I didn't trigger you too much with some of my choices. And yeah, if you like this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel, because this would really help me to grow and keep doing these videos, and sharing my opinions with you. Leave a comment down below how you found it, or what other choices you would have done or made. And yeah, I will see you in another one. Bye!